last Sunday night. And, sometimes I'll fill in for a pastor that's on vacation or something. And I've at Divino Redentor too. So I've also made a commitment. This is a potential commitment. I'm committed to it. I just don't know how it's going to work out. There is a work in a little town village called Cavite. It's between here and Nauta. It's a river town, and there's
Mm-hmm.
actually a road that goes out to Nauta now. But halfway there, there's a little river bridge across, and in that town, there's a church. There's a Baptist church. It was started many years ago. It's actually called Peniel too,
Mm-hmm.
but they have a pastor, but he really needs help. He's kind of discouraged, and he does everything. So we've made a commitment from the Getsemani Church, Pastor Daddy De Agua, Edgar, who I've been discipling, who I was discipling at Peniel.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to head out there and do that. No, I just was going to say a lot of our work, not all of our work, where I was teaching, discipling, preaching, and helping with them reorganize since they had some problems with the former pastor. Um, so what happened is they had new leadership, and I was kind of involved with that. Heading changing. This is a good time to change. So right now we're kind of looking for another church to serve in, so that Wendy can teach Sunday school to the children, etc. And then I would be help with the teaching and preaching. And so we're in that process. But meanwhile, I am preaching at churches that don't have a pastor, and some have not had a pastor for a long time.
Mm.
So I'm usually on schedule at Calvario, which is really a few blocks away from here.
Mm-hmm.
They usually have me down once or twice a month. I preached at Getsemani, no, at Ebenezer, at Ebenezer, the last Sunday night. And sometimes I'll fill in for a pastor that's on vacation or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I've at Divino Redentor too. So just so you understand, as far as the institute is concerned, I have a lot of emotional attachment and
Mm-hmm.
things here, because it's always been there. It was one of the first things built by our mission. There's so many graduates came out of there, but you have to understand it's a big property right smack dab in the middle of the city. It's prime property. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I know the government has looked at that because
Mm-hmm.
that's probably who's going to get it, but
Mm-hmm.
it's but they don't even do anything to it or touch it because it's almost kind of a city landmark. It's,
Wow.
it's part of the Patrimonio de la Humanidad
Yeah.
uh, of the city. It's part of their history. It's a landmark. It's a historical landmark for the city.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't touch it. They won't do anything with it. They always skirt around and just it's going to stay there. But the problem is, okay, you have Tim and Virgie that were. It's a long story. He's in aviation. Okay, so his goal when he came to Peru was to basically fix airplanes for a pilot that was coming down to do pilot ministry, airplane ministry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because we needed a pilot. Well, that didn't work out. Okay, for one reason. So he's here. So what is he gonna do? Well, he's a good teacher. So it was time for him to move, and this was before I got here, right? But
Yeah.
he came and they needed a director at the institute, so they took that over. Well, he gets here, but it's this huge property that needs money to maintain. Okay, I'm not just talking about taxes, but just to keep it up because you have to mow the lawn. He has two or three German shepherds, and you have to keep them in certain areas. You have to make sure they're not where the students are. And so you have to have at least one person that's on the property, watching
Mm-hmm.
the property, opening up the property, and he does some of that. But you have to hire someone to do that. Okay,
Wow.
so we have to have spotlights for the evening in particular because there are people that try to come in, either takes things
Mm-hmm.
or come in and destroy things. So you have these spotlights you have to have at night, and it's just a real. But anyway, so it's a lot to maintain. Things break. It's an old building. Things break. You have to paint it again. It's a lot of money,
Yeah.
and so we have to figure out what are we going to do. Well, the funds, all those funds that we had, especially pre-COVID, aren't there to maintain it. So we cannot continue to do that.
Mm.
So we have to kind of phase that out. So
Right.
that was one part of the reason why I came, was to help teach at the institute. They needed teachers, but we're not going to be doing that in a few years.
Right.
So, and we've told the pastors, we've told the association, but they just, what are you going to do? So they are kind of making some changes. They're going out to the rivers and teaching some courses or doing some workshops. So I think it's going to work out good between what the association is doing and how the institute is going to be changing. It's
Right.
you have to change. You have to adapt to the new, and it'll be more convenient too. We My parents always used to say, and they lived here, but all the missionaries used to call this Grand Central Station. Well, nothing has changed because I said when I get down there, things are going to be no, in your dreams. We actually have to turn off the buzzer outside.
Yeah.
We won't get anything done, but they end up coming in anyways. They call me or they click on the thing, and I have to go out and see who it is. But it's just a constant flow of people. So, like our director, like Steve said, he said, that can seem like a problem, but God's put you there, and so you try to make the best of it. When we get something, like example, when we get something work done here in the house, like I had a guy that was basically the idea was he was supposed to bring his friend and come get an estimate on putting new eaves trough in. The eaves trough in the back has to be replaced because we have to close the door when it rains, because otherwise the water splashes, comes inside.
Yeah.
And it's where it stays. It gets the cat all wet. So whenever it rains really hard, the cat gets all wet and it's like freezing, right?
Oh,
it's
no.
A little cat. So we need to get, so now what should you think 15 minutes, maybe half an hour. No. He comes at 8 in the morning by himself. And so he goes out and he measures, and then he calls the guy. Oh, well, he's not open till 9. His business doesn't open. So he's here for an hour. We sit down and we talk. Well, we did talk about spiritual things, but that's stuff I could be doing, And then his friend comes, okay, at 9 o'clock. And then we have that. And then he sits down. He tells me about all his trip to the river, working for the oil company. So he didn't leave here till 10 or 11.
Wow.
Well, that's just a typical thing. When someone comes and works on the yard, I've determined I'm going to do the yard work because it's done faster because I get more done. I just do it and get it done with, and I don't have to talk. The plumber's the same way. I mean, half that time you have to talk to him, joke with him. Otherwise, they'll charge you too much, or they think you're, not nice.
Right. Yeah.
So it just takes a long time. So we're trying to take advantage of that. We have neighbors that we spend time with, handing out the mangos, handing out. They were trying to their object was to close down the roads and the streets and go to the police station, the main areas, and close off the highway. The Pan American Highway is very important. Okay, it's not just transportation like of people, but it's also basically the well-being of the rest of the country. A lot of vegetables and fruits here. We live in the jungle. They could grow it in the jungle. But if you go to the market, you go to the supermarket here, any supermarket, all those vegetables, all those fruits come from Lima, and they go on the Pan American Highway or Lima, through Lima, but they have to be transported on the Pan American. So if you say that, if someone says it's been closed, that's not good because and even when you do have food, all the prices go up. So everyone suffers. Because you have Cusco. Well, you've heard of Cusco. That's where the tourists go. Well, ever since then, what has happened? Well, the tourists are leaving. So what do the businesses do? You have the hotels. They have to let people go to clean, people to clean the rooms, the people at the desk, well, they can't pay them because they don't have any salary. There's no money coming in, so it affects everyone. But anyways,
Mm.
our city has not had much. Okay, there's certain more violence and so forth. We have not seen it here. They did have some. They had some marches a few days ago, but it was all contained, very controlled, no violence whatsoever. And I don't know if it's the makeup of the people here, or they're practical, or they're just laid back. But we had no problem like that here.
Mm.
Okay, usually that type of thing is from people from outside,
Mm.
but there was no violence. I think they're just practical. Like, hey,
Mm.
we're just trying to survive. We're trying to feed our families. They don't have the luxury of going out and do that and getting arrested because they
Mm.
have to feed their families every day. Whatever they bring back, that's what their family eats. If
Right.
they don't make money that day, their family doesn't eat. Okay, so
Mm.
that's basically how it is. Um, well, right now, I think officially we're around 100%. No, okay, I have to qualify that. That's before the salary. Our salaries were just increased. We just got an email I think this week that our salaries have increased. So we will have to probably raise some more money. Um, we have God has been really good, and when we go to Afton, we don't ask for money. I don't ask for money, and our letters. I get really tired of just people all every time I get a letter from them, and Lord bless them. They're just asking for money all the time. And I don't like that. I sometimes when we have a need, we say, we have this need, but I also, oh, please give, no, and it should be very limited, and it should be prayerfully done, not just an emotional thing. You go home and you pray about it. You pray about it personally with your family. Is this what God is leading us to do? And God's always provided. Okay, so God's always provided. We are what is this? We're okay right now, but we'll have to probably raise some money for this increase in salary. And I mean, I'll just tell you, this is the way it is, especially I think since COVID. But usually, now some churches have increased, but usually, unless there's a direct need and they say, oh, you need to, so we're going to increase our giving to you, it will go down because the COVID has affected so many. And then we have, older supporters. When they die, they don't give anymore, obviously, when they pass away. So the support usually only goes one way. It goes down. Okay. So that's just across the board. We have a lot of, we have individuals that give. The churches have been very good at that, but it usually goes down. So just in general.
Right.
But we probably would be serving them right now. But finding a church where the girls feel fit in, they feel comfortable, it's important. It's something you don't talk about, but we don't want them to be turned off by missions. We don't want them to be turned off by God or Christianity. And right now, it's good. They're both saved. Both our girls are saved, and they have a good. They would look forward to going to church so they can tithe. Okay, their own money. They have to do chores around the house to get a little bit. I think we gave them like 25 cents a week or something. We just increased it like 50 cents.
Right.
It's symbolic. It's not really what they.
Right.
But we don't want them to just have all this money. We want them to value that. But they look forward to getting to church so they can tithe their money. I mean that's good, and we want that. So that's something you could be praying about. And it's hard because we'll go to some churches and 80% of the kids are boys. Well, here boys are boys. It's a male dominated culture, and it's really hard. It's really hard, and that's also another factor. Us, as far as our future, where we're going to be serving, et cetera. We have to consider that because once they get to a certain age, it's
Yeah.
this is not a good place to be serving. So.
Yeah.
Well, it's very encouraging. It's very encouraging to see the people that we've invested in. Whether like Ed God is he's preaching. I disciple him. He's preaching at the church he's attending right now. It's Emani. and he's still continuing with continuing with his training, and he's taking some other courses.
Mhm.
It's good to see that. I think working with some of the individuals at Benyel with helping them preach there, and or music and these sort of things.
Mhm.
I think it's very satisfying. And then going to churches and
Mhm.
seeing teaching them and them just being excited about their spiritual walk. That's very encouraging for me.
Right. Yeah.
So